Welcome back, Star Wars fans, to the Hyperspace Database. I'm Jonesy the Mandalorian, your host here, with today's topic, the YV-929 freighter. The YV-929 freighter was a medium-sized freighter developed by the Corellian Engineering Corporation during the reign of the Empire, and was just one in the long line of other successful freighters developed by CEC. The YV-929 was designed to be a light freighter that could transport over 150 metric tons of cargo, along with its 6 passengers, and was meant to serve in the cargo hauling business, like the other YV series of freighters and the YT series of freighters. It was slightly smaller than the YT-1300 transport, like the Millennium Falcon, though it was slightly faster than the stock YT-1300 model. It was more heavily armed than other transports of its size, especially the reinforced model of the ship, dubbed the YV-929 Armed Freighter, which served as a small blockade runner of sorts for the Rebel Alliance. With its double turbo laser cannons, dual ion cannons, triple blaster cannons, as well as its several missile launchers, this transport was more than up to the challenge of taking on enemy blockades and capital ships that would stand in its way. It was popular with smugglers and pirates because of its offensive weaponry, and was often used by ex-military personnel and mercenary units because of its dependability in battle. While the ship was not extremely maneuverable, being fondly referred to as the Flying Brick, it was formidable enough for the Empire to restrict the sales of these ships to third parties like the Rebel Alliance, though many of the ships ended up in the service of the Corporate Sector Authority. While this ship was very well armed and armored, it came at quite an increase in cost, as the new model of the YV-929 was 250,000 credits, and that was over twice as expensive as a brand new YT-1300 at 100,000 credits. Those beefed up weapons and armor don't come cheap. Let's take a short tour of the inside of the ship. Starting from the front of the ship, we see the cockpit, which houses a pilot and a navigator, as well as stations for 2 gunners. Going back from here, we enter a hallway that splits into several sections. Straight back is the lift tube that descends to the lower level, and off to either side of this hallway are the port and starboard cargo holds. Behind the lift tube is a small circuit bay, and even further back in the ship are the port and starboard docking rings. Though there was also a docking ring on the rear of the ship where more cargo could be loaded and unloaded. If we take the lift tube to the lower level, we see there are several crew bunks opposite the passenger cabins, which are accessible from the main boarding ramp. This is right next to the engine room, which takes up much of the rear of the ship. Going forward from the lift tube, we enter a large dome-shaped parlor area, which had form couches and a gaming table for entertainment on long flights. The galley was also off of this area so that the crew and passengers could relax and grab a bite to eat at the same time. While the YV-929 armed freighter was more expensive to produce than other freighters of its class and size, those modifications were worth it, as they served as a strong deterrent to pirates and other criminals who would attempt to gain access to their expensive cargo and important passengers. Want to know more about great Star Wars topics like this one? Hit those like buttons and the subscribe button if you haven't already, and you can check out my other videos for great Star Wars content. Be sure to talk to me in the comments too, because I really want to hear from you. Super special shout out to my Gold Captain level Patreon supporters Miss2003, Nick Sutphin, and Matthew Scott. Your support is incredibly appreciated and you keep the show on its feet. Thank you very much. Be sure to chat with me in the comments because I really want to hear from you about this or other Star Wars topics, recommend something for the future, and check out my other videos for great Star Wars content. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.